Good morning. And before I start, for those of you who are celebrating Star Wars Day, may the 4th be with you. Welcome to another school assembly and the third week of the summer term. Unfortunately, the blue skies and beautiful golden sun of the previous weeks have now disappeared and been replaced with clouds and occasional rain. But I still hope that this message finds you well, safe, healthy, and protected by the warm embrace of your family. It's hard to believe that we are already more than 6 weeks into this lockdown process. This length of time was never going to be easy for young people who are so used to spending time with their friends, interacting with people who share a common interest, and enjoying laughter, fun, and sharing common experiences that will make memories forever. Spending this long time away from school must feel particularly peculiar, as it does to all members of our staff who have devoted so much of their lives in the care and education of young people at our school. With luck and the continued observance of the isolation protocols, we very much hope that our school will, at least in some form, soon reassemble and begin to enjoy the opportunities to be together and to share the days of summer before the term finally ends. Although the summer holiday seems some way away in the future, as this term is showing, those days will go quickly, and hard as this process seems, I would urge you to follow the government guidance. Stay at home, stay safe, and do not go out for any reason other than an essential journey, your exercise for the day, or to gather needed supplies for your family. One thing I did want to remind students about is the new process of registration which began last week. It is very important to us to ensure that students from every year group are managing to access our educational programs, and so this registration process is one that we hope to ensure that none of our students are left behind and their education is not impacted by this absence away from school. Therefore, please do respond to the registration form on Firefly so that our pastoral team can track those who are struggling to access the remote and online learning programme. Can I also encourage you to use wisely the resources that are available on Firefly, because there are resources that have been made available to extend your education and available challenges while we are in this period of lockdown beyond the curriculum. I would in particular point you to the Skills for Life course that Mrs. Isherwood has developed as an online resource primarily for the Duke of Edinburgh Award. Such is the value of the courses that she has created that I would encourage you to look at these resources and spend time becoming familiar with them if you can. The material on first aid in particular has huge benefit and value and could at some point in the future be a life-saving skill that is of enormous value for some other person. While I am discussing being of service and value to other people, I would like to report that Mr. Wilson Turkington, Head of Department for Economics and Business Management, is currently on a period of secondment to the British Army in his role as a British Army Reserve officer. He has volunteered as part of an Army mobilisation unit to act as a liaison officer in a support unit for the NHS. Consequently, Mrs. Anne Collar has taken over the running of the department for the summer term, and between Mrs. Collar and Mrs. Murray, they will cover all the lessons and activities within the Economics and Business Management department. We wish Mr. Turkington the very best of luck and safe travels as he heads away on this brave endeavour. School closure is never going to be an easy thing to accomplish, and the media is full of stories of the developing plans to reopen schools, bring students back, and manage the complexities of isolation and social distancing. The school is currently spending a great deal of time planning for this process to begin, because deep down this process of closure has simply reinforced the importance of connection, belonging to a community, being a part of a school that places character, honesty, kindness and respect at the heart of everything we do. As we have said so often from the stage in the main hall, both in school assembly and in year group gatherings, we value most those who seek to bring kindness, friendliness and a smile into the school and into every interaction with people that are part of our community. Unfortunately, it is all too easy to be mean, especially in the moral vacuum of social media, and the school places above everything those who can stay true to themselves, who value honesty and who respect and accept the thoughts, beliefs and feelings of others in our community. It has been a hugely uplifting and rewarding process to have spent this past week interviewing so many of our current sixths who are seeking a role as a school effer for next term. There is something very special about the energy and passion of a young person who is seeking to lead our community to a better place. And I must thank those who we have already interviewed, and I look forward to speaking with the remaining candidates in the coming days and weeks ahead. The conversations that we have managed to have in these interviews are enormously encouraging and positive, because so often they are centred around how we can make our community more welcoming, more accepting, and more tolerant of one another. The importance of simply being kind and thoughtful about other people can never be underestimated. We hope that in all our leaders we choose that they are driven by a desire to help others, rather than to simply wear a tie to represent their excellence in academics or in sport, in music or in an extracurricular activity. Kindness and care for other people should be at the heart of every school leader that we choose. After the celebration of our NHS and key workers on Thursday night, I by chance happened to find a much loved book called The Swallow, the Owl and the Sandpiper, a wonderful collection of words centred on courage, wisdom and spirit that was compiled in support of the Sandpiper Trust. The Sandpiper Trust is dedicated to all those who work in the world of emergency care and in accident and emergency departments in Scotland. It's a wonderful book which had at its inception the noble intent to raise funds to equip remote rural areas with medical equipment, to intervene should the very worst happen and access to medical care be delayed or difficult to access. It's a wonderful collection of writings, poetry, thoughts and words of wisdom arranged into 3 sections: the swallow for courage, the owl for wisdom and the sandpiper for spirit. It is collected from a diverse range of people who all volunteered their favourite pieces of writing to the book. As I was thinking about this assembly, I happened across a piece of writing in the chapter from the owl, the chapter for wisdom. It's a short piece called Drop a Pebble in the Water by James Foley. And I think it has at its heart the very kindness and empathy for others that we seek in our school, and in particular in our school leaders. Drop a pebble in the water, just a splash, and it is gone. But there are 100 ripples circling on and on and on, spreading from the centre, flowing out to the sea, and there is no way of telling where the end is going to be. Drop a pebble in the water, in a minute you forget that there are little waves are flowing, and there are ripples circling yet, and those little waves are flowing to a great big wave has grown. You've disturbed the mighty river just by dropping in a stone. Drop an unkind word or careless, in a minute it is gone, but there are 100 ripples circling on and on and on. They keep spreading from the centre as they go, and there is no way to stop them once you've started them to flow. Drop an unkind word or careless, in a minute you forget, but there are little waves are flowing and there's ripples circling yet, and perhaps in some sad heart and mighty wave of tears you stirred and disturbed one who was happy ere you dropped that unkind word. Drop a word of cheer and kindness just in a flash and it is gone, but there are 100 ripples circling on and on and on, bearing hope and joy and comfort on each splashing, dashing wave, till you wouldn't believe the volume of the one kind word you gave. Drop a word of cheer and kindness, and in a minute you forget, but there's gladness still a-swelling, and there's joy according yet, and you've rolled a wave of comfort, whose sweet music can be heard over miles and miles of water, just by dropping one kind word. So, as this new week begins, my wish for you all in the coming days is to concentrate on kindness. Kindness to yourself, to your brothers and sisters, to your mum and dad, to all your family, to those who are in support of you, and to all those who care and make a difference. Have a wonderful week.